Well, I finally got around to watching that episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty, probably my favorite ongoing TV show, I would say, of them all.
Yeah, after that, it's cemented for me, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic episode, of course, as, you know. It's funny because Rick and Morty, I was having a discussion with my brother about Rick and Morty yesterday, and he wasn't such a big fan of the newest episode because he kind of feels like Rick and Morty is almost jumped the shark with how like almost meta the show is and how self-aware the show is of how kind of out there it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, I kind of like it for that reason. You know, it's kind of... It started as very much... Like, I remember watching the first episode or two when they came out. And that yes, that is me humble bragging that I was on the bandwagon from day one. But
yeah, no one cares.
that makes me more of a fan than Barry and Joe, just for the record. Except that also makes Joe more of a wrestling fan than me.
A football fan.
And a bigger football fan than me as well. And he prefers life to me.
Yeah, I've been doing that since '84. So
I am a bandwagon hopper when it comes to life. I only came on in '88.
I was eating chocolate in 1984. years before you were eating chocolate.
But like I say, I remember when Rick and Morty was just like, you know, Futurama with a little bit of like Back to the Future, and it's so far away from that now that it really did a great job of setting up its own kind of identity, and it even has little aspects of like South Park to it, where it has its own universe that has its own kind of set of rules that, you know, it kind of follows. With all of the rigs and
on the most recent ones, I really got the vibe from it. It's like, oh, this is like South Park, but so much better in so many ways. Yeah, real South Park vibe off the new one.
Well, South Park is funny because although South Park has developed a lot as well, South Park still kind of it follows the rules that it established very early on. So it's still, you know, the kids in the school, and of course South Park can be very topical in that. Whereas Rick and Morty has just kind of season after season, I know we're only in season 3 now, but it's kind of moved at such a fast pace that if you were to go back now and watch the first 2 episodes or so, they probably come off like super, super basic. It's like really weirdly simple, you know?
Yeah, and that first episode is like also like it's not great, and it's like I always tell people just like watch the first like 3, because that first one pretty much just establishes what the show is, and it'll give you an idea of what the humor is, but it's not like the most hilarious episode ever. But yeah, one thing I do want to say though as well, I mean, your brother talked about the, you know, how meta it is and how that jumped the shark. I mean, that's part of what I love about it. I did see a theory that when the actual new season begins, that the ending will be different on this one. Because this, of course, for context, for people who, of course, will be listening to the ChairShot podcast in 50 years' time and they won't recall this, they released this episode on April Fool's Day. It's been 18 months since the end of season 2. They've been very, very quiet. Very, very few details have come out about when and what season 3 will be. And they just, without hype, they just released episode 1 on April Fool's Day, and they confirmed the rest will be out in summertime. So I have seen speculation that the ending developments with the family and the ending rant about the sauce will not be in the actual episode when it actually airs. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but I think that would be hilarious. Because I like how them coming out on April Fool's Day like subverted the idea of an April Fool's joke. Like, you got something nice. Yeah. It'd be very apropos if they'd turned out that actually it's not the true beginning to the series or something like that. But I don't know if I necessarily believe it. But I thought that was a funny thing to think about.
It's definitely cool that with this show, something like that could happen, and you wouldn't necessarily be sure, as we are now. You're not sure if that's like a possibility or not. Like with Rick and Morty, really nothing is off limits with regards to what they can do or what they cannot do.
Yeah,
I like the fact they seem to get rid of the aliens that are taking over Earth.
Yeah,
because I didn't quite like that. Because I think it's better when Earth is mundane, and they kind of escape to more exciting parallel universes.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking forward to it though.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame though that we only have the one episode until the summer. You know, it's kind of you get your fix.
It's good.
I mean, it's good in that it makes me want more, obviously.
Yeah.
But for it to be, it is kind of like a junkie getting a fix and then being told, you know, no more heroin for you for a few months, and you kind of start to shake for a while. I was kind of like that when the episode was over. I was like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
I
kind of want to go back and watch the first 2 seasons again now. It's been tempting me.
Yeah, I mean, it's so long now since I've watched the first 2 seasons that I think if I were to go back and watch them, it would be almost like watching a new show, or new episodes, because the first season came out in 2014,
13, 14.
Yeah, I only watched them once. You know, I don't have this
Yeah.
fresh in my mind, and yes, this is me humble bragging again. I don't have the fresh in my mind plots or moments here. Of the first season, and I couldn't even tell you whether this is the first season or not. Like, if I was to try and remember episodes, I remember the episode where Summer is in the spaceship.
I think it's season 2.
Is that season? There you go. Like, I don't remember anything from season 1.
I think the Meek Seeks were season 1.
For real, originally.
I think so, yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's a great show. If you're not watching it, my goodness, watch it, because it was a great episode, and it was like, oh, it's nothing better when your show comes back and it's just as good as when it left. Because that was like one of my favorite episodes they've done. I actually watched it twice because Kira got mad at me because I watched it without her, and I was like, well, I wasn't going to wait for you to come over, but when she did come over, I did watch it again, and it was tremendous.
Well, it speaks to the quality of the episode as well, that Natty here didn't want to watch. She wasn't in a mood to watch TV, so I got into bed with the laptop anyway and put Rick and Morty on. She was just on her phone, and when the episode started, she put down her phone and watched the whole episode. So there you go. Even when people aren't in the mood for TV, Rick and Morty is that good that people will watch it anyway.
Yeah.
I also watched the first episode of the new season of Adventure Time, which came out a few weeks ago. Yeah, quite good. Adventure Time is in its final stages now. I think the next season will be the final one, and it'll be done. Yeah, I'm a big Adventure Time fan. It's kind of weird because although the last episode wasn't as long ago as something like the last episode of Rick and Morty, I really didn't remember what the cliffhanger of the last season was, or really what the last episode was about. So I was kind of coming into this trying to pick up the pieces as I was watching the episode, going, wait, what happened? Who's this? But no, it was good. I'm actually 16 episodes behind or something already, because the way they air the episodes are real strange. There's 2 weeks where they brought out an episode every weekday or something like that. So they do catch up very, very quickly. But then Adventure Time episodes are only about 10 minutes long anyway, so you can kind of burn through a lot of them quickly enough. So yeah, that's a show I like a lot. It's kind of weird in the same way Rick and Morty is, but obviously is more for kids or big adults who are essentially kids like me. So that's
Adventure Time is, you mean?
Yes, that's what I mean. Adventure Time. Yeah.
I thought you said Rick and Morty is more for kids.
No, definitely not.
That'd be good though.
It would be. Rick and Morty is the kind of show that if I watched when I was 8 or 9, I probably wouldn't have been afraid of. Because it's very violent. Well, the last episode, yeah, blood and heads exploding and stuff. Yeah, it probably would have terrified me as a kid. Yeah. That's on the TV.
Also, I don't know that kids would necessarily even really find it funny, because it's a lot of the humor is just in the outrageous cynicism. The ending of that new episode is just so ludicrous, but it's so great that I think it would be really lost on young kids. Although I did laugh every time he said, "I'm going to go take a shit." In the new one.
That was so great, where he was just switching from body to body, and that scene was so excellent. Yeah, I loved it.
To me, it really does feel like I think like an adult Adventure Time is a great comparison, because they have a lot of fun with the going to different universes and meeting weird, freaky aliens and weapons, and they just get to play around with all this infinite sci-fi toys, which was a cool thing in Futurama as well. And I think they amp it up to the nth degree.
They have a real good knack as well for kind of creating viral sensations, and not even in a cynical, like, intended way, but stuff like Swifty and Mr. Meeseeks and stuff like that just catches on online so quickly,
And the sauce, oh my god, people have gone crazy for the sauce, the Szechuan sauce.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was everywhere as well, of course.
That was inescapable this week, which was hilarious. I mean, it was, I think McDonald's did say that they addressed it in some capacity, I believe,
well,
which is hilarious.
Free advertising for them, I guess.
Yeah, and they could probably. It would be utterly bizarre if they bring it back and it's like instead of. Well, first of all, the best result would be if they bring it back and it's still Mulan branded. I would love that. But
well, there's a new Mulan coming out next year, so they can.
Yeah,
that's live action, is it?
Yeah, live action Mulan. So they could bring it back next year.
But I just love the idea of they should bring it out, but they should Rick and Morty brand it, and just get Happy Meals with like Mr. Poopy Butthole shot, like bleeding everywhere, and Meek Seeks killing themselves, and just the surrealist, cynical Rick and Morty Happy Meal would be tremendous. If that did happen, probably wouldn't come to this part of the world, but I would. I'd love to see. Yeah, that was Rick and Morty. If you're not watching Rick and Morty, folks, my God, it's on UK and Ireland Netflix, probably on US Netflix.
What are you waiting for if you're not watching it?
You can't sit with
and
us.
the good thing is this is actually something. It's a good point made in. There was a Guardian write-up of the reveal and the episode and the sauce phenomenon.
Barry's reading the Guardian.
Oh, yes, well, what should you say? But I wasn't reading the Guardian. It was on the website. I don't buy. What am I going to read a paper? Are you mad? But they said that it's 2 seasons, like what, 8 episodes, 10 episodes a season, 20 minutes each, and as this wait for season 3 has proved, pretty far apart, and so it's definitely bingeable cult TV. It's not like if you wanted to watch Adventure Time where it's already 310-minute episodes, or any other kind of TV show that's like an hour-long episode. Some of them are huge long seasons. Real easy to just power through it in a weekend and get all caught up. So do that. So I think that's what we were all watching.